C-Squared, you don't want to come run that race in June?
I thought you would never ask me. It was like a
Bannermarsh?
girl getting excited about being asked to prom.
3.1 mile lib. You want to come run it?
I will.
Dude, come do it.
I was waiting for you to ask me.
Did you see the BPN? Did you see they finished? Did I tell you they finished or no?
They did?
Yeah, they the weather stopped them. So they had a severe thunderstorm rolling. They had to cut the race off at lap 57, like mile 238 or something like that.
Did you end up signing up for the other one, though?
I haven't yet. I got to. So.
Come on, man. That's the big deal.
The thing is, I've already told so many people that I'm going to be doing it.
That's the problem. If you don't sign up for it, you don't have that skin in the game.
Yeah, I know. I gotta.
What's your routine looking like for that?
Just run around. I don't know. I haven't logged much more over 5 miles at a period of time, so that could be tough. This morning we ran 3 and then ran 2 during the workout as well.
Yeah, so 5 total.
Yeah, again 5 total.
But are you consistently early morning right now?
Usually working out early morning, but that usually consists of probably minimum 1.5 miles during the workout.
Yeah, punch that mic up a little bit close to your face.
Oh.
I don't need you to punch the mic. Thank you, man.
But running usually I'll do in the afternoon after work and just log 3 miles or so. 4,
okay, so you're getting in a routine. Does it help now that you're in the new house with the routine?
Yeah, for sure, because I get home, Mel will be cooking dinner, and then I'll just go run for 4 miles.
I know one thing for me, especially running early, yes, it's hard. However, the solace and routine you find with that before you get into a crazy day of work. For me, and your day of work is probably a lot crazier than mine objectively.
Yeah.
But even before, if I do wedding films or other commercial projects, you don't really know what is coming at you that day.
Yeah, I mean, running wise, usually, because the workout starts at 5:15, so that means the run would start at 4:30, which 5:15 is already early enough, dude. I got such a long day ahead of me already. So yeah, but I completely agree. I heard someone say the other day, they were that inner voice of it wins in the morning, you roll over, you go to sleep. Because the night before, usually I'll lay out my clothes in the other room, shorts, shirt and stuff, so I don't turn all the lights on and wake up Mel at 4:30 in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
And he was saying too, it was a good point, but he's if he doesn't go and work out, one, you're saying, it mucks up the rest of his day because he feels he got off to a sluggish start.
Mm-hmm.
But then two is when he actually gets up, if he say clicks the snooze and then gets up for work and walks into the other room and sees the clothes just laying on the bed, he just feels like an absolute failure because it's dang, the night before literally prepped everything. I just couldn't wake up that next morning, then walk into the room after hitting snooze and you're gosh, failure.
It's crazy too because I know you and me, let me back up. There's a whole ecosystem of people that you can find that are just complete savages.
Yeah.
The tip of the spear of any kind of athletic profession or just endeavor at all. And so being realistic, you and me fall pretty significantly below that line. Mm-hmm. And most people will fall pretty significantly below that line of just trying to do that. But there's a lot of steps that you can take as an average Joe or whatever. Nobody can be, or not everybody can be a Jocko Willink that's just so maniacally disciplined, or at least it comes much harder. So what are it seems like laying out your clothes is one thing that you've done to just kind of bulletproof your morning. It's almost we need to make it as easy as we can to be disciplined.
I mean, some of that's really been, I feel I'm on Rogan right now or something, because that has nothing to do with Z-Beans. Now we're just chatting. But
that's the whole point, man.
I feel for me recently, because I was just going 3 days a week, and I got great content with going Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Monday I didn't want to go because it was a Monday. Friday I didn't want to go because I was oh, it's another day of rest, even though Saturdays and Sundays don't do much anything running or workout wise at that point. And so recently what has been kind of motivating me more so is the fact that a lot of people like don't have the ability to do so. I mean, like, was talking with a few of the guys who we work out with who are like recovering like addicts, like drug addicts, like alcohol abuse, like stuff like that. And was talking to one of them the other day, and it was like he was talking about like spending time with his family because he went to like a recovery program and like was away from his family for like 120 days or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And so like, now he's like, man, of course I'm gonna spend every time with my family because I know what it feels like to be taken away. And so like for me recently, like we just did the Speed for Need thing with like you push someone that has the inability to walk, is in a wheelchair in a 5K, like basically just saying like there's a lot of people that can't, so like do it for those who can't. Like I mean, what a blessing that all of us can put one foot in front of the other. Like literally the most celebrated thing in life is taking your first steps as a child, and then obviously like as you go on through life, then it's like if you trip and fall, like what an embarrassment, because it becomes like so. Like, I mean, of course everyone can walk, right? Like, it's like, yeah, we walk everywhere every day. We walk to our car when we leave. We walk into this room. It's like it's in our natural progression. But, I mean, if that gets stripped away from you, like, I mean, I'm sure all those people want to do it that had the ability to walk at one point that can't anymore for whatever reason. Like, they would want to get up and go run a mile, 50 feet, 3 steps. So it's like we are giving the bodies – like with that ability from God to put one foot in front of the other. So it's like, what an insult to a blessing that would be for myself not to go out and do something with that. Like why waste it? So that's kind of what the motivation has been as of late.
It's crazy too. The most able we are is usually the most we take it for granted. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Correct.
It's like you and me could realistically go outside and do kind of whatever. We have a battle for push-ups for the next couple hours.
Yeah.
And like, I mean,
and you'd get smoked, but yeah.
Yeah. Whoa, now that's one of my only workout things that I do right now is like hyper consistent. As I do long runs on Thursdays, and then I do 100 push-ups a day. You seem like a 100 push-ups a day guy.
I don't know if I like intentionally do it, but probably over the course of the day, like the workouts we do, because we do a lot of body weight stuff. So like, I mean, push-ups are a pretty staple, like exercise, but something like that.
Have you gotten a lot away from the college athletics workout program? Because you played football there, and that's like a whole different.
Yeah, I mean, the biggest. So obviously, like, did all that. I mean, you're working out like probably 2-3 times a day, like early morning lift, and then you got practice. I mean, so I guess twice a day, technically speaking. But like, I mean, after I stopped playing, it was like I did not want to work out anymore, like ever. Like, I didn't want to get under a squat bar for the rest of my life. Like, I was like definitely didn't want to do like trap bar deadlifts or like heavy hang cleans or something like that. And so like for a while, dude, like honestly, probably like 2-3 years afterwards, after stopping playing, I just like coasted on that. Like still being in that shape, because like right after I stopped playing was probably the best shape I was ever in, like from an appearance standpoint, because like for football workouts they just like build you to be strong, like not necessarily look like cut up, but you're just like literally working out to be thick.
And let me bookmark this too, and then I'll let you continue. It's much easier to get it back after you've gotten it, if that makes sense. So once you've like gotten the frame, you can coast on it for a while.
Correct. Yeah. So that's like what I was coasting on for the longest time. And I think when I was playing football, the most I ever like got up to was maybe like I touched 190 like once or twice, and a lot of it was just like muscle mass.
Were they trying to bulk you up?
Yeah. I mean, like they were just trying to make you thick, so you could like, I mean, like, dude, like I'm 5'10".
You still are.
I'm 5'10", like. I mean, at the time, I was 5'10", like probably 185, trying to go crack a middle linebacker who was probably like 6'2", 6'3", like
some big old
220 plus. And so it's like, yeah, like they're probably trying to really beef me up. But so I was coasting on that for a while, like lost all that extra just weight basically, and then was like cut up because all the excess just bulkiness on me was leaned off, and so it was just like the muscle was left. And so I was like, dude, like
this is
I ain't got to
sick.
do anything.
Yeah.
And so like coasted on that for probably about 3 years, and then had a wake up call probably about like a year ago. I think I got up to like 197,
Nice.
and it was purely like food, beer, sugar, candy, like nothing, no muscle mass. It was just like 195, 197, and I was like, holy cow.
It's like you lost 10 pounds of muscle, gained 20 pounds of fat.
Correct. And I was like, holy cow. So then like it was just from there, I was like, okay, like something's got to change from there. But I guess from the football aspect, like I got burnt out with it. I mean, you're doing it so much. And then would try to go to the gym. That's not as fun because you're just like in there alone, basically by yourself, like with your own demons in your own head, which, motivates some people. But I like more of the camaraderie feel because I want someone there that's like hopefully a little bit better at whatever I'm doing than I am. So it pushes me to get better, and then I can push that individual.
Yeah.
So that's like the workout format we do now. It's like it's a men's workout group, and it's just like peer led, and it has like that locker room feel where it's like you go, and I mean, shoot, like last week it was pouring down rain. Like, I mean, it wasn't cold because it's the summertime, but it was pouring down rain. It's kind of one of those mornings where like, gosh, like, I hope some guys show up. So I'm not just like kind of out here with me and one other dude. And like, I mean, there's like 12 other guys just like there in the parking lot, standing in the rain, like waiting to get the workout started. So
nice.
It's like, that's kind of sick, because it's like, dang, if these guys are out here doing it. And some of them are like legit 62 years old doing it. Like, dude, if some 62-year-old guys doing this, like me as a healthy 25-year-old, I should be able to do this. But
yeah,
anywho, that's a fitness tangent right there.
Well, we can talk about whatever we want. So I think we're going to go into religion and politics now.
Oh, okay. Is mic off? Let's turn the camera.
Yeah, I'll flip it off and then flip it back on.
Cool.
But I mean, it is the solace in your morning because our days do get your day's pretty crazy with everything going on in the stage that we're in terms of growth.
Yeah.
What's
edit out the voice cracks. This is bad.
I can edit them out. I'll do a what is it? Auto tune? What's the like the T-Pain thing?
I'm a growing lad. The doctors said I'm gonna be 6'5", dude. So
do like the
I'll be
T-Pain.
26 on Friday.
What's the craziest phone call you think you've ever gotten that was like a welcome to being a COO moment?
Trying to think of like craziest. I don't know if craziest, like from a day-to-day standpoint. I mean, our shops are open from some of them 6 a.m. and some open till 9 p.m. So like really, sure, we might be in the office from like 8 to 6 or something like that. But like, I mean, shoot, like really coffee shops are open from 6 to 9.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, there is 15 hours in the day where like something could be happening. Sure, I might be sitting in my office chair for 10 of those hours, but there's an additional 5 hours on the front end or back end that something can happen. So that's definitely a one of the, I guess, I'm trying to think of the right word, like strains of the job too, like the mental strains. I mean, you could ask like Mel, like we can be sitting at dinner and like something like someone calling me like Turbo Chef is not working anymore. It's like, gosh, I gotta step away from dinner to do this, or like, head hit the pillow, and then 9:30 p.m. someone calls, George, $200 off. Like, what do I do? And we have systems and stuff where the shop leads, ideally can manage a lot of that too. But sometimes it is the shop lead calling with a question like 2 days ago, someone called me at 5:20 a.m. Like that. What I woke up to is the phone ringing. At 5:20 a.m. The alarm was going off at 6 that day, but so 5:20, then they started 40 minutes earlier than I was planning on, so crazy. I'm sure there's been some crazy times where like someone has called me with just like the shop is flooding or like something's on fire, the outlet just exploded. I'm sure that there's been plenty of times because I know I've had to spring and go to that shop, whether it be in Tampa, Florida or Rome, Georgia, have to go there. But I'd say more so just from a consistent basis of that, you're kind of always on call of that switched mindset of it's hard to turn it off sometimes because it could be, like I said, 5:20 in the morning. It could be at 9:45 at night. Someone's going to pick up the phone and say, let's call Max because we have a problem that we can't solve.
Yeah. You're the problem solver. You're the go-to guy.
I try to be.
Have there been, I'm sure there have been things, but has there been like particular questions that you're just stumped on?
Oh, plenty. I mean, every single day, like every day, there's questions that get stumped on. I mean, the best thing to do is just acknowledge it. Say like, okay, thanks for letting me know. Working on solving it as fast as I can. Let me do some research on it, or maybe call someone else, like a maintenance person, to see, or whomever it may be, to see if we can kind of work through this problem together, and then eventually get back to them. So it's just you got to avidly be staying, because if it's a problem that's affecting the day-to-day operations from a store, like it's got to be fixed.
Mm-hmm.
It can't always be fixed in that very instant, that moment, but at least got to acknowledge it first, so they they're heard, they're seen, they know it's being worked on, so it suppresses down the, oh my gosh, everything's wrong. Like, our day has had a wrench thrown in it. Okay, we've seen it. The problem is actively being tried to solve. Like, maybe it can't be solved in 5 minutes. It might take 5 days to get it solved. We have to ship in something. But yeah, it's there's plenty of things every single day. I mean, every day is something new. Like, it's just, yeah. I mean, there's, especially as we grow locations. I mean, like, you start out with 3 in Macon. It's a 5-minute drive to go fix a problem.
And you had started before Piedmont was open?
No, Piedmont was already operating. I think when
Okay.
I started, the only stores we had were the 3 in Macon and the one in Columbus, Georgia, St. Francis. Is that right? So I mean, even St. Francis, like, hour 40 minutes away at the most.
Yeah.
But I mean, problem fires up in Brandon, Florida, which is 5.5 hours away. Like,
Mm-hmm.
it's a different ball game for sure.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's just a natural progression, and hence why it's really important as we continue to grow. We have highly trained individuals that have layers as well that might be a little bit closer to that store than 5.5 hours away. Like the Reardons, down there in Florida, the Florida regional managers and stuff. Like, it's just, I mean, as you have more stores, you're naturally gonna have more problems.
Yeah.
So, and then it's just from there, it's just keeping that memory bank of, okay, this problem occurred 6 months ago at, up in Rome, Georgia, and now Orange Park, Florida's having the same problem. Here's how we fixed it in Rome. Let's give that a go.
Yeah.
Did it work? Did it not? It did. Great. It didn't. Okay. What can we do next?
Yeah. Well, have y'all talked about, once you get the next 5 shops open, 10 shops open, whatever that, like, magic number is, where it's like, okay, I love being able to solve these problems, but I cannot do this all by myself?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's what we're, like, kind of working towards right now. Like, hence why I mentioned, Michaela and Nick Reardon down there in Florida. That's what they're down there for a lot of times. So, like, they take a lot off the plate, for sure. If there's an immediate issue at one of those Florida stores, like, dang, like, they're going to be there. Same with Kalis, especially on the shop side too. As we grow that more and more, Kalis, we just switched over to be head of HR, and so, like, her ability to also take the HR aspect off of my plate as well has been really, really helpful. Yeah, I mean, I think it's just the give and take as well of, like, as we open more and more locations, like, what is that next threshold of, we feel like we hit a threshold, hence why we had to put those 2 positions I just discussed in the mix as well.
Yeah.
Okay, so, like, does that carry us until 3 more stores? And it's like, hey, like, we were constantly having friction. Okay, do we need to bring someone on? Do we just need to train people better? Okay, maybe we can just train people better. We last until 5 more stores. Okay, like, now it's really a headache every single day. Okay, we probably have to look at bringing someone else on to focus on this aspect of whatever problem you're seeing.
Yeah. But I'm sure when you got brought on too, there was an aspect of, like, cool, I'm working for a mission and, a statement and a story. And then once you start to get into the day, it's just, you're in the trenches. You're not, like, stopping and smelling the roses. I think for Mary Catherine and I, one of the few times that we stopped and smelled the roses was, and just been like, wow, like, we've accomplished a lot, was the Journey short film. That was one of the time, there's, like, these earmark moments where you're like, wow, like, there's actually, like, a method to the madness.
No, that film was really, really cool. Because, I mean, like, I joined, like, later on, so I wasn't roasting coffee in a popcorn popper in the MIC like Carter and Shane and Ben were doing. But, I mean, even from when I came on, I think it was like 3.5, 4 years ago now, something like that. I don't know. Sounds about right, maybe.
Blends
Somewhere
together.
it all blurs.
Yeah, almost 5, so yeah, probably like.
Yeah, I think 4 years ago now. So like,
I'm almost 2.
but even to like see everything, because I mean, I'm gonna say when we're younger, we're still very young. I mean, I'm literally I turned 26 on Friday, so like we're still.
Happy birthday, man.
Thank you. We're still
You're
young.
all grown up now.
I know. Frontal lobe developed, which was last year, but I think it had some work to do still.
Yeah. We all have work to do. You'll realize that when you
But
get married.
like it is neat, like looking back, because in our earlier on days when we're like, okay, we need to keep growing the stores, like keep opening locations, like anything that was a shiny gold object, like we want to open a store in Alaska. Awesome. Like how are we gonna do it? Like yes is our first answer, and then we'll figure out how to do it.
South Dakota one we had on the table at one point.
Yeah,
What was the South
we can
Dakota
dive
story?
into that. Yeah,
That was about 6 months before I even started working here.
dude. Yeah, so
You're talking to the mic.
yeah,
We're over here.
Yeah,
Big
yeah.
dog.
Sorry, I was thinking.
My
dude.
eyes are up here.
I was thinking. Yeah, South Dakota trip, or I guess it was really a Montana trip. So
That's
Montana, what had happened was someone reached out to us that lived in Billings, Montana.
Nice.
That had been in the coffee game for a little bit, like, but more on the green coffee side. So like they would sell the green coffee to a lot of the West Coast roasters.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Ecuador, like we're the leading importer of Ecuadorian coffee in the United States. Zeebings is on a consistent basis. Like it's a very rare origin. So we were like, this guy reached out to us and was like, hey, I think it could be a big hit on the West Coast. Like, I mean, the West Coast and the coffee game, typically trends in the coffee game start on the West Coast. Like think like Portland, San Francisco, like California, all those cities and states, and then migrate their way this way as well. So like the Southeast is kind of the last to pick up on whatever the hot coffee trend is. So this guy reached out to us, was like, I have a lot of contacts on the West Coast of roasters. Like, I think I could start selling y'all's green to the West Coast. Like, do you want to fly out, come meet with me? We can discuss the logistics of it. And shiny golden object, Shane and I were like, yeah, like let's absolutely do this. So I think this was right after COVID. Flights were just through the roof. I mean, like, so flights each was going to be $2,200 each to go out to from Atlanta to, I think we were going to fly into like Bozeman, Montana. And when we saw this $2,200, we were like there's really zero chance like we can do that. And so Shane joked and was like, what if we just drive out there? And I was kind of like, it's a long drive. And then like I think that was when Ben was still coming down after his accounting 9 to 5.
When Ben and I were living together.
Correct. When
Yep.
y'all were living together. And so like this was a late afternoon conversation. We're probably a little delirious from the day. And Ben like sticks his head out of the door and is like road trip to Montana, like count me in, let's do it. And we're like, okay, so we can split the drive between 3 people. We text CV. We're like, dude, you want to take a road trip out to Montana? And CV was like, sure, let's do it. So like the next thing we knew, like the next week, we were leaving to go to Montana, leaving from Macon. I think it was a 28 or 30 hour road trip up there. But what we did was we found roasters that we thought would take interest in starting to purchase green Ecuadorian coffee. And so like on our way up all the way to Montana, we stopped at like different roasters in like Nashville and Kansas City and all these towns through dropping off just samples of green coffee, like writing them a note and like leaving them. Some of it we like passed through at 2 a.m. So we just like leave it on their doorstep. Like in the mailbox at the roastery.
Honk, honk.
And just keep traveling our way up. Yeah. I mean, long story short, like the trip literally amounted to nothing outside of like a team bonding experience.
Yeah.
Because how we would do it is like 2 guys would be up front, one would be driving, the driver would then rotate to the passenger seat, passenger would rotate the driver, and then we had a twin XL mattress in the back of this transit van that like the 2 other guys would just be knocked out, like waiting for their shift to pop up. And so yeah, it was definitely an experience. I wish we would have. We were like, I mean, we were very much on a mission. Like we know how Shane is. Like he's like this is the mission. Like there's no wasted time. I definitely wish we would have stopped and we passed through some really cool places. We stopped at Mount Rushmore. Don't ever stop at Mount Rushmore, dude. Like it is the lamest thing ever. Like you see Mount Rushmore on TVs, in movies, and you're like, man, like this is huge monument carved into the side of the mountain. And I guess in like putting it in perspective, like it is incredibly impressive how they carve 4 presidents' faces onto the side of a mountain. And I guess it is big in the grand scheme of things, but like on TV and movies, dude, like you think this thing is massive.
Yeah. That's what I'm thinking.
We make one stop the entire trip. Like, and we are passing by, I mean, national park after national park through South Dakota, through Montana, like all these places. I think the Yellowstone was flooding at the time, so we couldn't stop there. So we circled Mount Rushmore. Okay, this is our one stop, you know. How cool would it be? Get out of the car, and there's a viewing platform, and it is so far away from that viewing platform. So we literally got out, we parked the car, got out, walked to the viewing platform, looked at it for maybe 4.5 minutes, walked back to the car, and left. Kept driving. Like,
Got me a mug, though.
yeah, we
got
did
your
get Mary
mug?
Catherine a mug. Yeah, so
Is it just tiny, or is it just because it is so
It's
far
like-
away?
it's a good ways away from the viewing platform. Not like where it's like that mountain's way off in the distance. Like it's still like kind of right up on it.
Yeah.
But I mean, you get on the viewing platform, you're like, man, this thing is a lot less impressive
I'm gonna look up a picture
than
of
what
this
I
now.
would have thought looking up pictures and seeing it in movies and TV shows.
Is it like equivalent to Stone Mountain? Like the carving on the side of it?
No, like the faces are definitely bigger, but I don't know. Like I just really, I really look up Mount Rushmore view from viewing platform or something like that.
Viewing platform.
It's like, it's not like as thin as Stone Mountain is.
Right, yeah.
It's like it's definitely protruding from the mountain, but it's just you're like, this is
Is this what I'm looking at right here?
yeah. Let's see.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean
Is that
like
it?
you're kind of at the base, but like
Or let's see.
again, I mean it's impressive. Like when you actually read like how they did it in the technology.
Is
they
this like
had.
walking up to it, or is that the?
Yeah, but dude, I promise you, it didn't look anywhere near that big when you're walking up to it. Like that is that's the Mount Rushmore propaganda right there. They make you think it's that close, and it's not that
Let's
close.
see.
I don't have my
Right
phone
here.
on me.
Is that kind of that?
Yeah,
that looks pretty small.
It's like a little bit better, but dude, I'm telling you, it felt way farther away than it should have. I don't know.
Dude, I bet the conversations once you get about 15, 20 hours deep in that road trip, were just you just know everything about everybody.
Last thing I'll say about Mount Rushmore too, before we hop into the recording,
He wants to dig Mount Rushmore's grave. I'm here for it, man.
is
He's like, wait, we're
what
not
was
done
kind
yet.
of funny is like I was like, I mean, guys, should we take a picture in front of Mount Rushmore? And Shane was just like, we're not worth that yet. I was like,
what?
like, we're not worth that yet? Like, he was like, maybe one day, you know, when we're worth something, we'll take a picture in front of these greats on Mount Rushmore. Like the great presidents, like, we ain't worth a picture with those guys yet. I was like, dude, so maybe one day when Z-Bean sells big, we'll drive back out to Mount Rushmore, take
Nice.
a picture in front of it.
I'll take the picture of you guys.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
amazing.
Well, hopefully flights aren't $2,200 round trip each. But
I bet the conversations on
Yeah.
that trip were crazy.
yeah, conversations were, I mean, sometimes productive, sometimes just like completely out of left field. You start getting delirious for sure. Like there was a time where I think I was up to drive. So I was the youngest of the crew, so I had graveyard shift. Like we take 4-hour shifts each. So I think I was like the 2 a.m. to 6 a.m. shift every day. And there was at one point where I think I was up next and Ben was supposed to be after me. And like we pull over at a truck stop, like somewhere in the middle of South Dakota, like just absolute middle of nowhere. And they wake me up in the back seat. And like, all right, Max, like time to drive. And I'm just so out of it, dude. Like I'm like, what are y'all talking about right now? Like where are we? what am I supposed to be doing? Like Ben was like, all right, like I'll take over this shift. But yeah, I mean the conversations were, I mean, could literally, I mean, you have a total there and back of 60 hours in a car with the 4 same people. So yeah, I mean, you could probably think of a topic and it was probably discussed at some point on the road trip.
Speaking of just driving and being delirious, I remember way back in the day when Shane went to go pick up the roaster. We were still at the Mercer Innovation Center. I didn't go with him on that trip. I was doing my own thing. But I remember, I believe he rented a U-Haul, or it must have been a U-Haul. And he rented it for like 24 hours or like 2 days or something like that. But in the equivalent of that 48-hour rental period that he had it,
they went to California and back.
I think he was going to put 4,000 miles on the car.
Yeah.
But he got it for like $50 because it was unlimited miles or whatever. And I don't remember a lot about this, but I remember just kind of keeping up with him as he was going on that trip. And I distinctly remember being in the Innovation Center when he got back, and I was just working or something. And you know how the Innovation Center is like the big glass doors at the front. I just remember looking over and seeing his face just pressed up against the glass, trying to get back inside. After the trip to California, I was like, I guess he got the roaster.
Yeah.
That was... I mean, I've experienced a tad bit of sleep deprivation with you guys, just in the spirit of, you know, helping grow in this. But the Ecuador stuff was the most fun version of that.
Yeah,
you know?
Ecuador's a lot of fun. Yeah, because Mary Kath and I went together the first time, and I mean, like, luckily when we went, a lot of the work was done on the front end. So like Shane was there for 2 weeks. Like he kind of like dogged it to try and get everything done that first week. So like Mary Kath and I can come down. We can more so just drive around to the farmers and like see the country of Ecuador itself.
Mm-hmm.
So and there are definitely some like conversations had, like we'd be at like a Mexican spot, like may or may not have been some margaritas deep, and then like we'd be like, oh dude, Mount Chimborazo is like only 8 hours away. Like
that's
the
crazy.
next bus leaves at midnight, dude. Like we'd get there at 8 a.m. Like how sick would that be to do that? Like luckily we had Doc there to be like, we can't do that.
Yeah.
Like, we can't.
Can't do it.
Yeah, you'd be like, can't do it.
Shane
Can't do
would
it.
say that, or
No, Doc.
Oh,
Doc
okay.
would be like, can't do it. Can't do it. Can't do it. But yeah, there's some definitely sleep deprived.
Did you ever get sick?
No,
You haven't gotten sick in Ecuador?
I did not.
Wow, I did once, I'm debating whether it was from the motion sickness or the cheese. Did you have stuff down there that was questionable, or was Shane?
Yeah, I would have some stuff. I mean, like Arturo like pulled us off on the side of the road one day and like made us drink essentially like fermented juice.
It's like tomato or something. Like it was a weird juice. Oh, I know what you're talking about. The
shack.
old guy.
The shack on the side of the road. Yeah, I mean, like basically, you might not want to put this in the.
We can cut it if we need to.
But basically, dude, it was like equivalent of like driving through the mountains of West Virginia. I mean, like this moonshine shack has been here for like 150 years. Like you got to try it. Like that's literally what the equivalent was. And he was like, do you want to try it? And of course, I was like, heck yeah, like let's.
Yeah.
Give me some of the good stuff, you know.
Yeah.
And yeah, that was. I think it was basically it was sugarcane.
Like
fermented sugarcane, basically. So like legit, like an equivalent to like
Moonshine,
but Ecuadorian.
moonshine.
Yeah, so that was.
We could set up a route tree for that. That sounds like it's slang.
That was an experience, but yeah.
Did you ever go to Ecuador and have like conversations with Shane about like all the different products that we could source from there, or like, I mean, I'm sure it's a never-ending idea factory between you two.
Yeah, I mean, we've had some crazy ideas. I think the more I have grown into the role and like finding the confidence within myself and understanding the business more and more, like definitely had to put the foot down a few times. Like, no, like we aren't doing that. Like logistically, operationally, that would be an absolute headache. Yeah, that would be a logistic nightmare. Like, why are we even considering doing that? I mean, it took a few ideas that at the time were good ideas, but like it created big headaches in the long run, like in my early on days. that would just kind of like go along with, because I was new still, and like at the time I was an intern, and then like I was fresh out of being an intern. It's like Shane would have this idea, and I'd be like, dude, like yeah, like sure, let's do that. That sounds awesome. And it took probably like 5 or 6 experiences of like innovation that was rushed. It was like, we got to do this immediately. And just me being like, absolutely, like, how hard do I row the boat kind of deal. Like, point the direction, how hard do I row the boat? To then the longevity of the headache it causes after the excitement dies down, to be like, now he'll come to me with an idea, and it'll more so be like, have we really thought through this? Do we actually want to do this? Like, there are definitely plenty of ideas where it's still be like, yeah, like that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Yes, let's do it. There's also been plenty of ideas where it's like, absolutely not. We're not doing that. That's a terrible idea because of A, B, C, Z, and no, we can't do it. Sometimes there's some politicking that goes on back and forth between the two of us.
You need a little bureaucracy.
Yeah, but no, I say for the most part, like, have a pretty good balance these days of here's an idea. Do we think this is a good idea? Do we think it's a bad idea? Before rolling it out to the rest of the team.
Yeah.
Right? It's like that filter, essentially, of like, hey, here's an idea we're thinking of. Let's discuss it first. Okay, we both agree this is a good idea. This is the direction we want to head. Okay, now let's come up with a plan to discuss this with the rest of the team to say, here's our idea. Like, here's what we want to do. Here's why it'd be effective. Here's why it'd be helpful. Thoughts, questions, comments, concerns, snide remarks.
What's the what was the biggest crash and burn that you had that maybe you thought was a good idea? Maybe you even had an inkling like, I don't know if this will work, but I'm ready to roll.
I don't know, McAdam. What would you say has been one that's like?
I was thinking about Corbin, about you moving to Chattanooga.
I think Ben.
Yeah, okay.
I think Ben said Corbin too.
Yeah, Kentucky was a tough one. Logistically, just a huge head. I mean, I literally moved to Chattanooga, Tennessee. Now,
there's a lot coming into your mind now, brother.
At the time, though, like, I mean, this is before we had any Florida stores, I believe, and we started getting more opportunities in Florida. So we originally thought we were going to build up the I-75 corridor, so like Macon, Atlanta, Chattanooga, up Kentucky. Well, what we failed to realize was we decided, rather than going up, we decided to go Macon, Kentucky. We got our start point, we got our end point.
Yeah.
Let's fill everything in the middle. So I moved to Chattanooga, like, we try and sell our way, like, from Chattanooga down to Atlanta up to, like, Knoxville and stuff. So yeah, that was an interesting experience for sure. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, as a growing business, you have to find ways to become sustainable and innovative. Sometimes that means doing something that's like completely off the wall to get you through a rough patch. I mean, for a while, like frozen egg patties that we have in our sandwiches that come like pre-cooked, everything like that. Mary Catherine's laughing. She knows where I'm going with this. Is for us, that works because we have such far range of distribution. I mean, like, Macon gets distributed to Ocala then distributes out to Jacksonville or Tampa or, wherever.
Yeah.
So for us, that's like the model we have to do is we have to use our fresh ingredients here, pre-stack for consistency, for quality control, and then freeze, distribute to the hubs that then get distributed to shops that then get cooked again. But at the time, egg prices were like just absolutely astronomical, like higher than whatever you think is the highest you paid for eggs. Like, I promise you, is way higher for these pre-cooked, like preformed patty eggs. And so what we started doing was just buying liquid eggs, baking them on these baking sheets, and then cutting squares of eggs to then put on our sandwiches. And so, like, that took forever. I mean, like, that took forever. The other one we used to do is Now we distribute croissant dough to our shops. The shops cook the croissant dough there. And we also have a supplier now that, like, for some of our croissant sandwiches that we pre-stack here, come already baked, prepped, proofed, that we can just build the sandwich. Well, for a while, we would actually bake the croissants first at our production house, then let them cool, then build the sandwich, versus letting the shops build the sandwich there or having the pre-baked croissants. Dude, so, like, we'd be in the roasting facility, and this is when I was still kind of fresh to Z-Beans, and I was just like managing the little, like, production house area that we had in the roasting facility at the time. I mean, dude, like, you'd have to go let these croissants proof for, like, minimum an hour. And so I would have every single tabletop in the roasting facility covered with croissants. Like, croissant dough that is just proofing for us to be able to bake. Like, dude, for us to bake, I mean, like, there were times where I have to bake, like, 350 croissants. So any tabletop surface that was available, like, there were pans of croissants proofing on those. And we had 4 ovens. It was just some out, more in, some out, more in. Like, dude, it would take legit probably 8 to 10 hours to bake and make that many croissants. And that's just to get the team started so they can use the croissants to then make the sandwiches to distribute to the stores.
What's the best way to make a good croissant? You probably perfected this.
Well, for a while I did. Well, no, because, like, croissants are actually, like, pretty difficult to make. Like, if you're just, if you get the ingredients and you're like, here's the flour and everything you need.
Yeah, it's like a bunch of layers or something.
Extremely difficult because, look into that, of course, as well, because dude, we just buy the raw ingredients instead of the pre-formed, like, croissant dough. Like, think how much more money that could save.
50-gallon mixer.
Yeah.
You have to have, like,
a croissant
you have to
roller.
have, like, proofing ovens and,
You'd
like,
be a bakery.
Yeah, you'd literally be a bakery. So there's a lot that goes into baking croissants. I mean, for the croissants that we were baking at the time, it was really just, like, take the dough out, let it proof, bake in the oven, let it cool. So nothing too crazy there. But
you don't have, like, a good baking instructions, like, this is what you can do to not burn your croissants
yeah, I mean,
or whatever.
I don't know. I'm sure I could
You're
tell you the
croissant
time
man.
and temperature that we bake them at the shops, and just the key is to let them get a dark golden brown, because if you don't let them get a dark golden brown, then they will deflate. So, like, if you, like, just let them get a pale, like, kind of doughy color that might look decent, you pull them out of the oven, they sit for like 3 minutes, and they start to fall because the dough in the middle is not all the way cooked to give it make it hold its form, and so then the dough will fall and the croissant will be flat.
How did iced espresso come about?
Yeah, so before my time, but iced espresso came about because during COVID, what?
It almost killed me when it came about.
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
Shane didn't tell me that it was espresso. Like, I thought it was.
Oh yeah, I'll touch on that too. But yeah. So yeah, before my time, but basically how iced espresso came about is, like, during COVID, we stayed open, and to take what was taking the longest time is obviously, like, pulling shots. And so we're like, for an ice drink, there has to be a faster way to be able to do this. And so how iced espresso came about is basically we looked at our steeping process and said, like that we basically do for cold brew, and said, okay, like, can we alter the time we steep? Like, what factors can we control? We can alter the amount of water that goes into the steeping, how much coffee is being steeped, for how long the coffee is being steeped, and, like, what grind size the coffee is being steeped at. So basically just, like, starting experimenting with that. To develop iced espresso, you get a refractometer, which is, like, measures the strength of a coffee, like how you decide if coffee is truly espresso grade or not. So just kept making batches using the refractometer. Like, is this espresso grade yet? Is this espresso grade yet? Is this espresso grade yet? Until it is espresso grade coffee. So it's a concentrate. Like, it's legit. Like, you have espresso that you just then bottled. So it's like espresso strength. And the whole purpose of it is to make the shop more efficient. So rather than having to pull a hot shot for an ice drink, though you can still request a hot shot for an ice drink, rather than pulling a double shot, you can just measure out a double shot of iced espresso, pour that straight into the ice drink cup, add your syrup and milk, and then throw ice. I mean, you can make, like, if you have a long rush of people and you have a big line and someone's like, can I get an ice caramel macchiato? You're like, oh, thank God. I can make this thing in about 20 seconds probably.
Yeah.
Like, that's how fast it can go. So it really was developed to increase shop efficiencies. Now, to Mary Catherine's point of, like, it is a bottled, it's bottled. So, like, some people might see it and be like, oh, I can just drink this. Like, you might grab at the gas station, like one of those canned lattes or something.
Don't.
We had a driver one time that was we had a shop in Jacksonville, Alabama at JSU at one point, and they were driving back from Jacksonville, Alabama to Macon. And I guess he had a long day the day before, and he was like, man, I'm really tired. Like, can I have one of these bottled lattes to bring home with me? I was like, dude, sure, like, grab one. He calls me like probably an hour into that drive. He's like, man, like, I am wired right now. Like, what's in this iced espresso? And I was like, are you drinking just concentrate? And he was like, yeah, dude, I am absolutely wired right now. I've had like a quarter of the bottle. I was like, dude, you were legit just drinking espresso right now. Like, basically all you're doing is, like, you have a barista right now just pulling espresso shots, and you're just like down on them. You're like, give me another, give me another, give me another, give me another.
Whoa.
And so he was definitely, I mean, he was locked in for the rest of that drive. I can promise you that.
That's what you need.
Yeah, that's a long-winded answer of how or why it was developed, basically.
Because the reason I bring that up is it's one of those things. It's like, I don't want to say there's a lot of things that are unique to us, but that's one of the things that I feel is unique to us.
Yeah, it's definitely very unique to us. It gets a lot of new business as well for us on the wholesale side, because people have gotten really creative what they can use it for. So, like, we have a customer in Oxford, Mississippi that uses it. They have a daiquiri, like a daiquiri bar, like kind of like a Fat Tuesdays, if you've ever seen those. It's in Oxford, so like where Ole Miss is. So it's a frozen daiquiri like bar. And she uses the iced espresso. They have a coffee flavored daiquiri, frozen daiquiri. So she uses the iced espresso concentrate as the flavoring for the frozen coffee daiquiri. Bakers have used it for tiramisu.
Oh,
like,
that's good.
They've used it for like flavoring. A lot of bars will use it for espresso martinis as well. Like, they'll add a shot of that in there.
Yeah.
But also too, like, those that are in similar games as us, so like small footprint, high volume shops, is like they very much see the value in being like, wait, you tell me I don't have to pull a hot shot to make an ice drink. I can just measure it out and pour it and add my milk and ice and serve it to the customer. Like, those that also see the value in it. Like, we've had people in, I mean, shoot, like, where was that one that was out west? Yeah, maybe like Nebraska, like New Mexico. That, like, is a coffee shop that literally typed in like espresso concentrate, and it's so unique to us that, like, I mean, you can be in New Mexico and we will pop up.
Yeah.
And then they'll give us a call. We'll explain to them the product. Like, holy cow! Like, this is extremely valuable to shave down on time efficiency, so I can serve customers that much faster. I mean, 20 seconds different doesn't sound like much, right? But when you stack 20 seconds times 50 customers,
Mm-hmm. A lot of time.
Yeah.
Is that a majority of your week is spent trying to just optimize these little things, or is it trying to just manage what's already going on, or is it, have you kind of given some room for
a little bit of both? That's definitely an area I'm trying to grow in myself, is like, so we touched on problem solving. That's like one of them, is like, just if a problem comes up, how do we solve it? The second one is like, are orders being submitted correctly by the store managers? Like, are we taking inventory correctly? Like, are we following the day-to-day operations of how we're supposed to be doing them? And then the other aspect of it, which is taking some growth, is, gosh dang it, where it's taking some growth is like, just because you're not actively working on a problem or something that is immediate does not mean it's wasted time. So like a brainstorming session, like this shop has lower revenue. Like, what are some ideas that we can maybe start to implement? I mean, we had that meeting the other day with some of our stores of like, hey, it's not exactly where we want it to be. What can we come up with to maybe give it a little push up to where we know it can be? But like using time to sit and productively think, like, how can, gosh dang it.
It's okay. It happens.
Using time to sit and productively think, like, how can I make this store a little bit better? And those ideas don't come fast either.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, like, you know, you might sit at your desk for 20 minutes and be like, just trying to think of something. And someone walks by, they're probably like, you know, why is Max just like sitting there staring at the wall, or like he's been on the same Google Doc for 30 minutes now. Like, what is he? So like, that is definitely somewhere I'm trying to grow a little bit more of, like, just because I'm not actively working on something that's immediate and pressing does not mean it's wasted time, because the decisions that we can make can impact the business exponentially if you actually think through an idea and it's well thought out and you implement it, and it adds value to the store.
Yeah. Are you getting to a point with, now that we're getting enough stores, where some of these stores can begin to somewhat feel like copy and paste, or is it way too early in the process?
No, like definitely the footprint of them, like in the operations that we do. Like, I mean, we have decided to go in the niche of hospital kiosks, you know?
Heck yeah.
So like, I mean, it's, the footprint for the most part is the same. It might be 200 square feet compared to 500 square feet, but like, you know, you got to have an espresso machine in there. You have to have the turbo chef. You have to have an oven. So like from the startup aspect, I would say it's probably 90% copy paste.
Mm-hmm.
But from then is each community is a little bit different, right? Like what might sell really well in Ocala, Florida doesn't sell at all up in Rome, Georgia. So like, I mean, you go in with basically a menu that you know should work, has proven to be work. Now that we have these shops, it works at 9 of the other locations. Like, you know, this is what we're going to do here. But then once you're open, that first 2 weeks is really important. Well, really the 2 weeks is excitement. So like, you're going to have business.
Mm-hmm.
It's the next 2 weeks that's also really important, is can you maintain the excitement? And then can you also take customer feedback constructively to then how can we improve? Like, what products can we potentially add? What products might we want to reduce because it's not as popular at this location?
Mm-hmm.
So I'd say like it's pretty, for the most part now, copy paste of just, okay, like here's what we need at this next one. Like we have a spreadsheet of this is everything we need to open the next store.
Yeah. What's the single-handed most popular like food item or drink item?
Drink item, caramel macchiato iced. That's for sure. We did a pop-up shop at West Marion Hospital, and Shane was running order taking. I was running drinks. I think we made it's like 635 drinks that weekend over 2 days.
Golly.
And I would confidently say a good 400 of them were iced caramel macchiatos.
Was it like a reduced menu kind of thing?
It was a reduced menu, but like that still holds true. Like that is probably the most popular drink wise.
Is that one that we might open over there, or was that just like a one-off pop-up kind of deal?
Yeah, no, like it's balls rolling. I mean, it should be in the next few months here.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know if we want to release that or not, but
It's fine. We just bleep it out. Act like you said a bad word. Bad, Max. Stop cussing on this.
yeah.
It's like, whoa, Max.
Yeah, but food definitely varies. The ham and cheese croissant is really popular.
Turkey and Swiss is pretty good too.
Turkey and Swiss is really popular. But I would say for the most part, food definitely varies across location. Like somewhere where the chicken biscuit with hot honey is really popular.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you pop down to another store and the sausage, egg, and cheese burrito is the most popular.
Yeah.
Like it just really depends on who's in there, who's buying food.
You might have a similar problem to me, but it's like
What do you keep doing, Mary Catherine?
she's just reset. They have 30-minute record limits.
Have we been talking for that long?
Like an hour and a
I
half.
think around like 20-minute mark.
Yeah, maybe an hour and a half at least.
I just
We have now been talking for an hour and a half.
Well, it's 3:30 right now. We started before 2:30.
No, we did not.
Yeah, we did.
Did we really?
Yeah.
Shoot, man, I'm taking up too much else time.
No, we're taking too much of your time, sir. Do you have a problem with like eating the extra food, man? Because like I just
Yes.
like we took some photos like new menu
Yeah,
updated items.
y'all are number one suspect for that.
What
I
do
mean,
you-
I know it's part of your, I know
whoa,
it's part of
whoa,
your,
whoa, whoa.
I know it's part of your job. Like, you gotta go take pictures of the sandwiches, but y'all are the king of being like, oh, we just so happen to need to take pictures again.
First of all, it's
of
not
the
my
turkey.
call. Direct this at her. She's my boss.
That's why I'm looking at her.
Yeah. Second of all, she does offer them to the baristas the majority of the
Fair
time.
enough. But yeah, definitely fall victim of that. I mean, like if I'm at a shop and like food is going out of date, or it's like we pulled it to throw it away, like
Yeah.
I'll probably cook it up and eat it.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I mean, like, dude, the hardest thing though was, you know about this. I did a fast. I did a 72-hour fast.
Did you?
Yeah. I didn't tell you that?
No.
About a month ago, I did a 72-hour fast. Just water and black coffee was all you're allowed to have.
Heck
Nothing else.
Yep.
I also had to work inside the coffee shop because we were training a new team.
What led you to do it? Just like you wanted to reset kind of deal, or you wanted
Yeah,
to challenge
like
yourself?
I had a lot of friends that did it the week before, and I was like, I don't want to do that. And I was like, well, the fact that I don't want to do it is probably a good reason to do it because, like, what am I afraid of? Part of it was more so just like I think like put so much value in food, and I overeat so much that I was trying to like reset the stomach, but also like prove myself mentally that like I could resist food. Something that I hold to like so high value in my life. But anyways, so to answer your question of like, do I find it hard? Yes, I found it increasingly hard when I was on that 72-hour fast and I was baking cinnamon rolls like left and right. And I would be like 52 hours in, just like staring at a nice, warm, freshly baked cinnamon roll.
Dude, that is
my
flirting
gosh,
with the
it
devil
was,
right
it
there.
It was torture. Like it was legit torture. But
See-
yeah, I think our food's really good. Like that's not me just being biased.
Yeah.
I think it's good. I think we have a lot of good options for, especially like, I mean, some of our stores are like literally, like I said, it's 180 square foot footprint,
Yeah.
and we'll still have 12 different sandwich SKUs.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the power of having a production house, controlling our supply chain, controlling our products that we distribute out that can be efficiently done.
Yeah.
But I truly think our food's good. Like I really do.
Has there been a food item that you would desperately want to put on the menu that you know is just at least too far out of reach for the next few years? Like if you just wave a magic wand.
I had someone the other day. I was in a store helping with something. I had someone ask us if we had ribeye. They're like, "Y'all got ribeyes back there?"
Whoa!
I was like, "Brother,
Just
like,
like
does
steaks?
do you see a grill top back here? Like, I don't have ribeyes back here."
You're gonna smoke her out back.
Yeah, we do have a brisket and cheddar croissant.
Yeah.
Like, that's pretty solid, pretty hefty. But
Dude,
yeah, he
ribeye
asked
was
if we had a
my
ribeye back there, and I was like, "Dude, I ain't got ribeyes."
I got a coffee. That's insanity.
Yeah.
What was the I'm interested about the fast that you did. Was the hardest the first 24 hours? Because I've done one too.
Hardest honestly like was dinner time every day, because like you finish work, and like on your drive home, just every day the thought is like, ooh, what's for dinner? Like, I'm pumped. I gotta get home and eat dinner. And so like during the day I'd be busy enough to like, I'd say about 80% forget about it, and then you'd like sit when you had downtime, be like, dang, I'm kind of hungry. I wish I could eat something. The hardest part every single day was definitely dinner.
Yeah.
It was because like you leave work, you're on your way home, your first thought is what's for dinner,
Mm-hmm.
and then I had to remind myself like, oh, nothing is for dinner. More water is for dinner.
Yum.
Yeah, so that was probably hard. What about for you? What was the most difficult aspect of it?
I say the first 24 hours. Well, you also have to think too that I did a little bit of I've been fasting for a while because I lost like 70 or 80 pounds. I went from 230 in high school.
Holy cow! I did not know you lost that much weight.
I was fat, boy. Yeah, I was offensive lineman and everything.
Dang.
I got looked at by South Alabama for offensive line.
Did you really?
Yeah, I was still too small though.
Wow.
Like they didn't
Go
want
Jaguars.
Yeah, they didn't want some 220, 230 pulling guard. They wanted one of them 310, 6'4" boys.
Yeah.
One of them Georgia
I
grown
did not
boys.
know that, dude.
Yeah, man. And so I went from 230 to 160.
Holy cow.
Over the course of 18 months.
Holy cow.
It was pretty quick. And then I did 160 for, it was like men's physique show prep kind of stuff. Dude, it was crazy. I never ended up competing. I had a pretty bad car accident. So I never ended up getting to step on stage for the show that I competed for. But it was, oh my gosh, it was so hard. Dude, like just battling being that low in body weight. Because right now I sit about 190. And so that's comfortable walking between 190 and 195 for me.
Yeah.
Like I could roll with that all day, every day, as long as I'm just not being an idiot. Then usually I go from about 190 to 170 for a race, 170, 175. So I've got about that.
How do you lose weight that fast? Or just training?
Just training. I mean, it's one of those things you like start eating a little bit less. And then when you start to eat a little bit less, you lose a little bit of weight. Then you can go an extra mile. And then all of a sudden you burn a little bit more. And then it's like you don't run to lose weight. You lose weight so you can run.
Gotcha.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't even know. There's some math that I'm going to screw up completely, but it's like for every pound you lose, it's like you shave 15 seconds off your mile or whatever
Really?
it is. It's something pretty significant. And so it's like, I'll just cut a little bit of weight and I'll be able to run a little bit faster, go a little bit longer. Joints hurt less. Okay. Well, stretch out an extra 2 miles today. Well, it's an extra 200 calories and I'm already in a deficit. Boom, losing more weight.
Yeah.
You see it compounds on itself really quick.
Yeah.
So when I get down to racing shape, I'm sitting at about 175.
Well, if you're gonna do Batter Marsh, you have a month.
Okay, give me the day for this.
June 21st.
June 21st. So we got about 3 weeks. Let's see. And we can probably round out the episode here with that. Let's do this. I will do the race with you under one circumstance.
Okay.
You have to send me a screenshot that you signed up for it.
Okay.
I'm not going to sign up for this and you'll be like, oh, I'll sign up for it, man. I'm going to sign up for it.
I'm telling you, I've told too many people. I've told too many people that I'm doing I can't. Really what I'm waiting for is for next week for our paycheck to.
Yeah. Okay.
For me, or not to say paycheck, but just where Mel has me on a tight budget right now.
Catherine and I are on a tight budget too.
Mel has me on a straight and narrow. So.
Yep.
So, but yeah, I'll sign up for it.
Please do it. I'll do it with you. Are y'all staying down there, Savannah?
Yeah, let me talk to the guys too because it's with the F3 crew, and one of them has a house down there.
Does he?
Yeah.
Huh. And Mel's not coming.
No, I think I convinced my brother to come though to be the refuel crew.
Heck yeah.
So I think my brother's gonna come and just like sit at the car, and like be the one mixing up electrolytes and getting stuff prepped. Like
really fun day. If Catherine goes down, would Mel go down?
She probably would.
If I can convince Catherine and I to rent an Airbnb near there.
Let's talk about it.
You want to talk about it?
Let's talk about it.
Let's sign off right there.